There are a lot of respect between us. I think that this is the success of our team. Each one recognize the skills of the other one. That's one of the reasons of the success of our team.
Our featured speaker today is a doctor in neuroscience and an expert in mental and emotional performance processes. He is a professor at the University of Puerto Rico and the founder of Sharp Focus, a cognitive training platform for those who have difficulty concentrating. Joel, it's such a great pleasure to have you back as our featured guest today. Thanks so much for being willing to come back on Founders Voyage and share your journey with us.
Thank you so much, Nancy and Spencer. I'm glad to be here. For me, this community is an important community in my journey, my entrepreneurship journey. So when you want me here, I will be here, right here. Some people that I know, like Patricia and Iwana, and all of the people here, thank you so much for being here. So, I would like to talk about my journey a little bit in my new scientific experience working in a fellowship in the Semilla Fellowship. This is a fellowship program with Mayo Clinic, the University of Puerto Rico medical campus. So, in this process of the fellowship, we're researching how changes and the new environment interact or affect the learning process in kids in ages from 9 to 12 years old. For me, it's a new experience because we are working with zebrafish. I know that some of you will have some question about how to relate zebrafish with kids. I had the same questions. So in the process, we're researching how, based on the self theories, say that there are two theories: the fixed theory versus the malleable theory. The fixed theory said that intelligence is a fixed trait, so we all have a certain amount of it, and that's that. That results in worrying about how much you have to demonstrate that you have enough intelligence. In this theory, children try to avoid, they adopt the avoidance approach, because they're trying to avoid to look dumb. So that generates a more stress and less performance. And one of the interesting things about the fixed theory is that most of the kids have a high IQ, but for some reason, maybe to avoid look dumb, they adopt the avoidance approach, affecting their learning process, affecting their learning performance, and they left some important opportunities in their journey, their learning process, because they don't want to try something that is going to be challenging for them. An interesting point, they try to perform in their comfort zone, avoiding to look dumb. On the other hand, the malleable theory said that the intelligence is not a fixed trait. One simply poses something everyone can cultivate through learning or through effort. Intelligence is increased through your effort, resulting in learners that wanting to learn more. So they adopt the resilience approach, where people are focused on what structure of the problem is instead of wanting to solve it immediately. So they see the failure as a learning process, not as an enemy or frustration process. They see the failure as a learning process, as part of the process, because they are focused more on the structure of the problem instead of the solution of the problem. So one of the interesting thing of the kids is that they have a less IQ than the other one, but they perform better than the other one because of the effort, because of the resilience approach, because of the ability to see the failure as a feedback, as a learning process. So based on these theories, we're researching on zebrafish. Why zebrafish? One of the reasons why zebrafish is because zebrafish has the 87% of the similarity of the genetics with humans. That's one of the reasons their behavior is similar like the humans. And one of the interesting thing that we're researching with this resilience process that eventually we will apply with kids in Boys and Girls Club. We're real humans. So one of the important things that we are researching is the concept schooling. I'm trying to pronounce. Schooling is when any group of fish stay together for social reasons. For social reasons, because they're afraid, they are social reasons they try to stay together. And the other one is the schooling. It's when a group of fish are swimming in the same direction in a coordinate manner. So we start to research the zebrafish, and in this graphic we can see the latency. The latency means amount of time they spend from the bottom of the tank onto the top of the tank. You're researching with a zebrafish in a decorative tank, which means the tank is free with a building and rocks and something like this. The other one in the empty tank, like open water. So the zebrafish that were in the decorative tanks, as you see in the graphic, you can see that in this graphic, we can interpret that the fish that were in the decorative tanks spend more time in the bottom before going to the part of the top. One of the important things with this is when mentally health zebrafish try to explore the tank. When they are in the bottom of the tank, they're afraid. They're in a avoidance approach. The decorative one spend more time to explore the top part of the tank.
That's really fascinating.
Yes, yes. When we compare this experiment with humans, it's something really interesting. I can see the questions. The question is to explain the differentiation. Okay, yes. In the schooling, the fish stay together for social reasons, mainly when they are afraid. They try to stay together, but they are not swimming in the same direction or in a coordinate approach. They just stay together, trying to stay together because they are afraid. But in schooling, they're swimming together in the same direction in a coordinate manner. So that's the differentiation. A mentally health approach is schooling. Uh, when they are in a mentally health approach, they are in the schooling process. They are swimming together in the same direction in a coordinate process, and that's so beautiful. But in the schooling, they are together but not hanging together. They just are trying to protect themselves. This is the differentiation. When we apply this concept to the kids, one of the process that we will run throughout a year with kids in the Boys and Girls Club, we're creating a resilience program using the SMART program. This is stress management and resilience training. This is a program developed in Mayo Clinic, mainly to help the doctors to manage their burnout. We will apply with those kids this program. This is a resilience program to help them in this process of the pandemic. Most of them are in the online process, online classes here in Puerto Rico, and I know that maybe it's the same in the United States. Mental health in kids it's affected because of the pandemic, because they feel isolate, separate to the adaptation, the ability to this new process of learning is completely different for them. We will help them with this program to create this schooling process, improve their learning performance.
I really appreciate you sharing. I didn't realize that you were doing this sort of research as part of that project. Is this part of the Semilla Fellowship
Camila?
program? Am I? Yes. I'm sorry, I said that improperly. I thought that was really great, and I love their mission. So I was actually wondering sort of what implementation of that research will be like. Like, what's kind of like the first thing that they're looking for? I mean, based on their mission, it really seems like it's focused on elementary school kids and education.
One of the first thing that we will apply with them will be the same setting of the zebrafish. We will run experiment right there with them using the zebrafish. They will run the experiment to see the behavior on the zebrafish. That's the reason why the program is based on STEM approach, because they will learn the behaviors, the resilience, the adaptability. The first stage seen in the zebrafish. We will explore the same thing that I'm doing right now. Then we will create, or we'll go to the phase of the implementation of the resilience program, the SMART program. The SMART program is most about mindfulness, based specifically for example, one of the reason why the people try to manage their stress with cigarettes or some drugs is because the brain have the ability to explore similar substance, like for example acetylcholine in our body. We when we're experiment the relaxation, our muscles trying to contract and relax, and we explore and we feel the relaxation, no? So cigarettes and the other drugs try to simulate the same thing in the process, and we will apply the mindfulness process because we can release the same acetylcholine, the same process of the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. And that's the reason, and you are in this area, Nancy, that's the reason why in the process we will implement exercise, mindfulness, meditation, and another things related to the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. That's the phases that we will apply to with those kids.
Well, as someone that has now participated in a clinical study, I can appreciate how long that process takes in the US. And then I also appreciate you as a scientist actually saying when you don't feel like you have conclusive research, because I feel like as someone in the health professional sphere, I'm always trying to make sure that I'm giving people information to which there is an accurate scientific basis and not just like one study of two people. So thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
that.
That's science. We need to be accurate with the information, and this information must be validated. a great example. Yes. Thank you for the question.
100%. Well, I look forward to hearing when you do feel like you have an answer to that, though, because I thought that was a really amazing group that you were trying to help. I do actually have another research question for you, and I haven't asked you this, I don't think. So correct me if I have, but based on what you've learned, like since we last spoke live, do you see that a version of the cognitive skill training Sharp Focus uses could work for someone experiencing Alzheimer's or Parkinson's? And do you think if it does work, that it would only work like at certain stages of the disease? Or do you feel like it's really too early in your exploration of this topic to project something like that?
With the same the ADHD, we don't have enough data that support our hypothesis. We see preliminary data, promise one in the phase one of the Alzheimer. Again, the sample was too small, so we need to run a scientific process with a greater sample. If you ask me based on all the research, yeah, in the first phase, and we can see how the first phase of the Alzheimer we can help those people with in the first phase. But as I said, we need to validate with a scientific protocol.
I think that's amazing work, and I'm very, very interested in hearing about how it can sort of, in general, people can improve the situations for people with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and diseases like that. Alzheimer's, particularly, is one of those things that so many people are affected by and afraid of, but aren't able to feel like there's any real path forward with it. I was hoping you could talk to us a little bit more about how you joined forces with Redmond and Patricia. How has having them join you as co-founders shaped the direction of the company?
Yeah. I think that we have some special connection with or interaction with between us. I met Patricia in 2019 in the Healthcare Innovation Bootcamp in Boston. We have some the same interests in the scientific manner. For some reason, we start to talk in the process, and later we met Redmond, and yeah, was something organic and organically process when we join forces. I think that our group is we have a diversity, because I am in the entrepreneurship process. As you know, I have not only the Sharp Focus project, I have another one. But at the same time, for me, the validation, the scientific process, and all the well-being and mental health must be integrated in my projects. So that's my role. But in the case of Patricia complement the group in a maybe in the best way because she's the expert in the scientific manner. She know everything about how to submit a proposal, the structure of a proposal, the syntaxes, and everything about that, the narrative, how to write a proposal with a good narrative for NIH or for NSF, because they are completely different. For example, NSF is more focused on engineering process, and NIH is more clinical, more medical. So they have a different narrative in the process. Redmond is an expert in the business development. He's our guide, our leader, helping us to explore different acceleration programs. For example, yesterday we had our meeting, and the first and most important milestone that we talked yesterday was about the we need right now a CTO. So if one of you here in the community is a CTO, we need a CTO to join forces with us because of the metaverse, the virtual reality update, Facebook and Oculus, all the things are changing because of the metaverse. So we need to be updated to be competitive with this new approach of Oculus and the metaverse. So one of the main milestone that we talked yesterday was to include our group CTO expert in virtual reality. So if there is someone here in the community, we will like to talk with you.
Well, I think that's a wonderful place to be at where you've defined the roles of your co-foundership, your team, and you're ready to take on someone else. And offline, I may actually have some recommendations for you for people to speak with about that. But I'm excited for all three of you at this stage in your journey.
Thank you so much. There are a lot of respect between us. I think that this is the success of our team. Each one recognize the skills of the other one. That's one of the reasons of of the success of our team.
I appreciate that you can recognize that too. Hi there. If you're enjoying this podcast, would you mind leaving us a review, a like, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform? Thanks so much. That really helps our reach. The Founders Voyage podcast is now proudly sponsored by VidOps. Kane at VidOps has been taking care of our editing since early 2024. He works efficiently, and I'm sure you'll agree that he does a great job. Thank you to VidOps for helping bring this podcast to life. If you want the same great support we're getting for your podcast, or you need help with video, photography, or animation, you can get 10% off at vidops.io using our referral code Voyage. That's vidops.io, referral code Voyage. Now back to the show. I want to transition just slightly. I feel like mental health has become top of mind for a great number of people that maybe weren't thinking about it as much 2 years ago. And mindfulness has been used as kind of a marketing buzzword for quite a while. I think over the course of my entire career as a health professional. And I'm wondering what you think people really should be thinking about in regard to their mental health.
In the American Heart Association, I'm a part of the board of directors. In the last meeting, we were talk about with some doctors in the board. They were experiencing burnout because of the pandemic, because of all the extra work they had. And in this process, they can recognize that their mental health is affecting because of the pandemic and the extra work. And for me, I think that there are a lot of workers in some different areas experiencing the same thing. For example, teachers and the nurse experiences mental health impact. People some taboo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this word correctly about the mental health. They think that if they go to a psychologist, they feel weak or they are experiencing weakness. And no, I think that this is one of the reasons why we experience burnout, all this process, because we do not accept that we need help, and we see the psychologists and the mental health professionals as a low profession in comparison with a doctor. With a, I think that the mental health manner is one of the most important in our journey. Answering your question, I think that because of the pandemic and the other reasons, but that's our experience right now. The pandemic, we're experiencing some level of burnout. If we can see how the burnout interact with us, we lost part of our character. We lost part of our patient. We feel tired. One of the important thing about how the burnout interact in our body is because of the interaction of our eyes with the screens, with the blue light. We have six pairs of muscles in our eyes, and when this pair of muscles in our eyes are tired, the brain gets this impact. The interaction in the mental health affects our brain and generates this fatigue in our mental health process. And at the same time, our diet is integrated in the burnout process because of our kidneys. If we are not eliminating the toxins because of our diet, whatever diet that we have, our kidneys will work disbalanced in imbalance process, affecting at the same time our heart. This is 101 physics human body class, but all these interaction affects our body and at the same time our mental health. If we don't have alternate process to manage our stress, like mindfulness or exercise or jogging or whatever, or a good diet, we will explore all of these things that I'm talking about.
Thank you very much, Joel. I think a huge number of people nowadays are starting to wake up to how important mental health is and how it's something, as you said before, there's like culture of sort of downplaying the importance of it. And I think that's something that people are starting to look towards and understand how important it is.
I was curious to hear more about the virtual reality interface and how exactly it can stimulate the prefrontal cortex via intentional movements. Is it currently available, and can it be used by people such as like in their home, or sort of does it require the presence of a medical team around it? Additionally, is trauma and PTSD, those sorts of disorders, part of the spectrum this tool can be used to assist with?
How the intentional eye movement interact with the brain? I said we have six pairs of muscles in our eyes, and all these muscles are connected with the prefrontal cortex, or the interaction in our eyes interact directly with the prefrontal cortex in the brain. And this part of the brain at the same time have a small part called frontal eye field. This area is connect directly with the eyes, and this area is related with the intentional eye movement, and at the same time with focus, or specifically with focus, with our ability to pay attention. So that's the connection. If when we are watching TV, we are just using our part of the eye movement with the subconscious one. So when we're reading, we're using the frontal eye field because the eye is an intentional movement. And when we practice intentional eye movement, we at the same time we're stimulating our attention skills, pay attention ability. The edges we're applying our project with kids 7 years to 12 years old.
Okay, and is it just in Puerto Rico or is it available in other countries?
It's available around the world. Yes, yeah. You can. I can share with you the links to to use the project. Yes,
So the product is already on the market.
it's already in the market. Yes.
Can kids or the parents use it in their leisure time, or do you need a medical team to make sure it's being used correctly?
Yes, the parents can use in their home. Yeah. Here in Puerto Rico, we're focused on a B2B approach to sell our product to psychology, psychiatrists, and schools. But yes, anyone can use the product in their home.
I see. Thank you. I was also curious. Sometimes kids lose focus due to sort of more profound situations, such as trauma or stress disorders. Are these situations your system can assist with?
There are a lot of reasons because of the ADHD, ADD, OCD, and another diagnosis diagnostics. But yes, one of the diagnoses is the PTSD, and in this disorder, the brain lost the focus, not because they don't have the ability to pay attention. It's just because the attention is in another direction, specifically in a fear, extremely a huge fear in their system. Yes, if we can train them, but as I said at the beginning of the of the talk, there are a lot of studies, but in our case, we need to validate the process that I'm talking about. Yeah, but if we can train them with the intentional eye movement, we can help them reduce their loss of focus, or we can help them increase their attention skills. So yes, I think that this is PTSD is an interesting topic. Obviously, we need to research more about that. Currently, we are focused on ADHD.
As someone that thinks about nature versus nurture, just say, are you dealing with the causes of this or are you just looking at ADHD? And I think, the argument can be made that you can have multiple causation factors, if you will. I don't know if that's what you would call it scientifically, Joel, but like when someone physically has a problem with their knee, I'm definitely looking for structural deformities, but I'm also looking for like movement patterns over the course of their life that they may have always had, and then the resulting injury. And then it becomes like that chicken and the egg scenario. So if there's no, structural deformity, and we'll say like maybe in the brain in this case, what other things exist. So I could definitely see, I don't know, I'll be really curious to hear updates about your work, because I'm like thinking about, you could have hormonal imbalances that could lead to both of those things. Like, and I'm oversimplifying clearly, but
Yeah, I'm so curious too with the process of specifically how we will implement the smart program with those kids in Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, I know that the program works with doctors and nurse. We will try to implement this program with those kids, specifically helping them to improve their learning process, at the same time helping them to use their stress to be more resilient instead more focus on the avoidance approach.
I look forward to hearing about that. greatly. I'd like to pass the mic to Shyam to ask his question.
Hi. So my question was, where can we learn more about the research? Is there any research paper or any kind of area where you can go and just do research? And the second one was, like, I know you just mentioned ADHD. I was not in the beginning of the session. How well does it work with ADHD kids?
We don't have a research paper yet. We will run the scientific process. We are in the phase of writing the proposal to submit to in National Institute of Health, National Science Foundation too. If we get the approval, the grant, we will run the scientific protocol with 100 kids. And the publication is the last phase of the process. So yeah, obviously we would like to publish our findings. The same thing with the fellowship, the Semilla fellowship. We currently we are in the experimentation process, exploring with the zebrafish, and we will apply the findings with the kids in the Boys and Girls Club. And the last phase is the to publish the findings.
The second question was, how well does it work with the ADHD? With the, like you mentioned, you're working with ADHD kids. Like, what kind of progress do you see? Yeah.
When we ran the pilot program here in Puerto Rico, juveniles and also with in a private school, we saw a 30% improvement in their reaction time. Reaction time is an important element in the cognitive process because it's related with the speed processing. If we don't have speed processing, the learning process is gonna be lagged. And yeah, we see how those kids in just 3 months improves their reaction time by 30%. So even when they had the diagnosis, even when they still having the ADHD, even when they were in the therapies with their psychologists and occupational therapists, they improve. And at the same time, teachers compare the improvement with their improvement in their learning process.
So I'm pretty sure we asked you this last time, but I was wondering if you have any words of wisdom or sort of your best lesson from this last leg of your journey that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, when I received the news about the acceptance in the fellowship, I was so curious about the zebrafish. I didn't have any experience with this kind of experiment. I didn't know that the process will be about based on the fixed theory versus malleable theory. The process, I think that I approach based in the malleable theory, thinking about the failure as a learning process, and that was something special for me, and because I was so open to learn how to run experiment with a zebrafish. I think that the best learning of this process was that even when you feel in a challenging process, don't be scared. Scare is part of the process. Failure is part of the process, specifically of the learning process. So that's for me the best part of the and the main experience that I got from this fellowship.
I appreciate that. I feel like we've heard that same sort of lesson verbalized in several different ways. I like if you fail, don't be scared because it's part of the process, because I do think it is that feeling of fear, however it presents in us, that really holds us back from potential. Well, I feel like we could keep going for another hour with all of the things that you've been up to. So I think we're going to table this and say we need to come back and have you on again soon, if that's okay.
Yeah. I would like. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Joel. We really appreciate you sharing everything that you did today and teaching us about your research. And thanks to everyone that joined us. Thank you for bringing your perspective and energy and questions to today's discussion. Spencer and I and the team behind Founders Voyage feel really fortunate to be part of this community with you and for the opportunity to bring you this cooperative learning experience each week. We'd love to have you join us again next week. And in the meantime, we invite your nominations for future guests. And if you'd like to support Founders Voyage becoming a podcast, you can donate to that directly through Patreon. And please check out the podcast channel, because Spencer and Carlos have been working extremely hard to get those episodes actually edited so you can listen to the older ones. So thanks again for joining us, and have a great day and evening ahead.
Thank you very much, guys. And thank you, Joel.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You've just finished another episode of Founders Voyage, the podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. The team at Founders Voyage wants to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you enjoyed your time with us, and if so, please share this with someone else who might enjoy this podcast. You can also support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and by donating to our Patreon. Outro music today is Something for Nothing by Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band.